Tonight, Addie's worst enemy might be an irritable cop, just bored enough to be curious. She ducked into the station and melted into the waiting crowd, most of them jazzed up to celebrate the night before New Year's Eve. As she groped in her pocket for the change she'd been saving, she caught a glimpse of herself in the metal frame of one of the posters lining the stairs to the subway. White face, huge eyes, the dirty and oversized clothing of a runaway. She bought a one-ride Metro card, slashed it through the reader, and clacked through the gate onto the platform, softly chanting the directions Rafe had made her memorize. Subway from Harlem to Grand Central, shuttle to Times Square, N, Q, R, or W train to 33rd Street, path train to Hoboken. "Chicklet, what brings you out tonight?" Her heart plunged hearing her street nickname. It was Des, the dealer who worked the grid a couple of blocks away from George's place. Addie always tried to stay far away from him. She'd seen what had happened to some of the other girls who'd taken the samples he offered and then got hooked and desperate, bad enough to service the special gentleman Georgia introduced them to. Des sauntered over and squeezed her chin with cold fingers, turning her face, forcing her to meet his gaze. "Where are you going, girlfriend?" He wore his hair greased back into a ponytail, a fringed vest, his eyes dark and mean like a hungry reptile. Fear and the fetid heat of the subway tunnel pressed in, making her feel nauseous and crampy. She wrenched free, bolted to the trash can, Des on her heels, and heaved out the contents of her stomach. "Whoa," said Des, stumbling back. "What you been drinking, baby?" Maybe if she ignored him, he'd leave her alone. At the very least, she knew he'd tell Georgia tomorrow that he'd seen her, maybe sooner. The subway car thundered through the tunnel and screeched to a stop in front of her. The people waiting began to shove forward. Without looking back, she drafted behind a tall man and flung herself through the doors, nearly landing on 3 girls dressed for a holiday party wearing Santa hats, spike heels, and loads of sparkly makeup. "Dude, watch where you're going," said one in a disgusted voice. With no seats empty, Addie lurched from one pole to another and slumped in the far corner of the car, keeping an eye out for Des. Once it seemed he hadn't followed her, she dropped her gaze to the speckled linoleum floor, which reminded her of the kitchenette in her mother's trailer in Waterbury.